Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tận thịnh, bi thứ pháp hội cấp nhật thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên diệu vào lưng giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát từ bi khổ đắc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Saranto Chuchedoye Ulahudi San Miao San Puto Sie. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Toya Daya Alahade Tamil Tammo Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, 100,000 million aeons, is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual doctrines. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de shou qi yuan jie ru lai che shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good advisors of Emitofuo. Chúc Phổ Bồ Sát Ching Liang Ta Sư Sư Phụ Sang Rần Cơ Vây Chú Cha Rần Cơ Vây Sang Chú Sư Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Tư Lương Đại Sư Thượng Tiên Hóa Quý Thầy Cô và các vị thiện tri thức ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 8th of August 2025. I'm coming to you from Go Force. Could we adjust this sound please? There's an echo that's annoying. We are on slide 1474 of the prologue slides. Thank you for the opportunity to share this with you. This is in the section where the Great Master Ching Liang is explaining to us about the essential classification of Buddha Dharma. First section, first part of the teaching, according to Great Master Essential, is Hinayana. I like this style. He called it as it is. Hinayana. It's not Theravada, it's not whatever. It's Hinayana. Hinayana meaning small vehicle, meaning limited. Like it or not. Meaning that it doesn't matter who you are, whatever you learn, will be limited. Limited knowledge. Only the weak ones who complain. Okay? So Buddhism is very blunt, very direct. Okay? That's part of the Buddhist teaching. It's small vehicle, meaning it's for small-minded people. What you're learning is for limited people. Okay? It's limited teaching because that's part of the strategy of the Buddha to teach Buddhism. When I hear a sound problem, it's your fault. You hear me? They follow me everywhere. So, second teaching is the real teaching. Beginning of real teaching, he says this is the Mahayana teaching, or he calls it initial teaching, because even Mahayana teaching, it's gradual. It is, Buddha decided to do it gently so that you can absorb it, because it's like when you have children, you don't want to force feed them. Okay? Even with Mahayana people with Mahayana roots, this is very important point. Even though you have so much potential, the Buddha decided you need time. Like a good wine needs time to mature. I know many of you are ambitious. Many of you have great ambitions for yourself. That's part of the training. You have to be patient. Part of your training is to be patient, that it takes time for you to mature. Okay? And so it's about you. It's the process that it takes time for people to mature. So this is why second teaching is called the initial teaching. Okay, let me go into it. Two, the initial teaching, in which there is extensive talk of Dharma's marks and scant discussion of Dharma's nature. The discussion of Dharma's nature just amounting to enumerating Dharma's marks. What happened to the?
二使教中广说法相，少说法性，所说法性即法相数。
We should add the in front of the Dharma's nature, Dharma's marks. This is the. Grammatically, it's incorrect not to have the. Right here. Here, here, and here. I don't know what happened the. Okay? So, let me clarify for you. Okay, let me continue. This is exciting because this is the Buddha's wisdom. He says, you know, I'm going to teach you everything that I want to teach you. I'm beginning to teach you the real Buddhist teaching, not for babies. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to offend a lot of you. But if you don't like it, tough luck. It's like babies. They don't like to eat broccoli. Tough luck. Okay? It's good for them. So they need to recognize, they need to obey, they need to follow the rules. You don't follow the rules, you don't belong here. Okay? Period. So for the Mahayana teaching, he started first by doing the first teaching according to Master Sensho, because he says, you know, I'm going to, just like we're doing here with you, plant the seeds of vocabulary. I'm going to give you words. I'm going to give you concepts. That's it. That's why it's called the first teaching. First teaching is about concepts, about terms, about jargons, about, this is what is called literary wisdom. Okay? So here in 1475 is initial teaching, in which Master YongHua is very helpful here. He says, this is why I appreciate Master YongHua's teachings, because he, in this section here, in this prologue, he reveals a lot of things he does not normally explain in the other sutras. So I've changed my mind. With the rest of the translation we're able to pull off for this prologue, we'll continue. Okay, meaning that because he's revealing a lot of details here about the insights here that I don't normally see in his other sutras. Okay, so I'd like to, with your permission, to continue with this and with whatever we have been able to translate, because it's very, very useful, okay, to me. Okay, and here you're learning right here. You're learning that it begins here. It says the great vehicle begins to be discussed in this presentation. Okay, the extensive talk of Dharma marks. Okay, he will tell you. For most part, it says names and characteristics of dharmas, has scant discussion of dharma's nature, just amounting and enumerating dharma marks. And he'll explain more later on. He says, in particular, in Hinayana teachings, they talked about 75 mind dharmas. In fact, that's why it's called small vehicle, because actually in Mahayana, there actually is 25 more dharmas. Okay, so making a total of 100. And the dharmas are two kinds: conditions and unconditioned dharmas. Okay, so what are dharma marks? Dharma marks are the conditioned dharmas. Okay, meaning, and furthermore, the discussion on nature of dharma is unconditioned dharmas. Okay, so it's great background information for all of us. Okay, that's a distinction between conditioned dharma versus unconditioned dharmas. Unconditioned dharmas refers to the advanced Mahayana stuff, where you learn when you will learn when you be ready. Okay, when you're not ready, we only give you the dharma marks, if you will. So it takes preparation. Okay, okay? Okay. And he further explains, to talk about the nature of dharmas means that you discuss the principle of true suchness. True suchness is a concept that only available in the Mahayana teachings. Hinayana, they have no clues what it is. Okay? Buddha refused to talk about it because it belongs to the big league. So those are the two major ideas I want you to be aware of. Yes, DTT. Remember, you only have 2 questions per day.
네.
You asked 2 questions already. This woman doesn't seem to understand numbers. This afternoon, she asked 2 questions already. But I give you 1 more question tonight. You better be good.
현보스님, 제가 카카오톡 메시지, 네. 봐서 제가 오늘 사실은 믿음에 대한 질문이 있었고요. 제가 믿음에 대해서 가지고 있는 제 관점은 한번 끊을게요, 현보스님.
Master, I have a question about faith. The viewpoint I have about faith is that
일단 첫 번째 제가 믿음에 대한 그 관점은 타인에 대한 믿음도 결국에는 자기 자신에 대한 믿음에 비례한다는 게 제 생각이고, 저의 경우도 돌아보면 결국 상대를 믿어보기란 제 결정을 믿었던 거였어요. 그러니까 믿음이 깨지는 일이 생겨도 그 관계를 되돌아보지 않게 되고, 상대가 배신한 게 아니라 내가 내 선택이 잘못됐다는 의미고요. 네.
is that the faith I have towards others is also proportional to the belief of my own self. So when I look back to myself, when I decide to believe others, it's because I believe in my decision. So when I those face breaks, I didn't look back because that person didn't betray me. Is my decision that was wrong.
그리고 근데 제 질문은 뭐냐면 선지식에 대한 믿음도 이렇게 결국에는 말리지처럼 축적되는 건지 경험에 의해서 아니면 선지식에 대한 믿음은 별다른 영역인지가 제가 궁금해요. 이상입니다.
So my question is, the faith towards good knowing advisor, is it also like a mileage system? Is it like a gain by points? Or is it another different realm?
Faith in your good knowing advisor is like having faith in Bitcoin.
그게 그럼 결국엔 대박 아니면 쪽박이란 뜻인가요?
That means I'm gonna lose all my...
I'm sorry?
Does that mean I'm
Is
gonna
that a
lose
second
all my...
question or same question?
아니 맞서께서 아니
Listen.
No, it's okay.
Listen. Okay. When you have faith, it means that even when that person is wrong, you still have faith. For you, your faith is only conditional upon that person being right. Having faith meaning that when the person cheats you, steals from you, lies to you, is very mean to you and to everyone else, you still have faith. I have faith in my president. Do you understand, Jumi? The Go Force people here understand it completely. You're the only one who don't get it. Okay? All right. XP, explain that to her. I can go. That's as far as I can go. Oh. Okay? Your faith is conditional, therefore it's not called faith. Your what you call faith is actually I don't know what to call it. But in my world, faith is I believe you. Okay, I know I'm wrong, but I still believe you. Okay? This is how you can live your life at peace. You know you're wrong, but you still believe. You know he doesn't deserve it, but you, what choices do you have? Best of luck to you. Okay, 1477. It says there are 100 dharmas, precisely selecting and clearly defining, and so debates are few.
说有白法，抉择分明，故少争论。
Okay. So in the initial teaching, it says 100 dharmas. Okay, it's a magic number, 100 dharmas here that belong to the great vehicle. And so vehicle teaching can be divided into 100 different dharmas. That's it. All right? And it's very concisely and clearly defines the dharmas. I don't know why it says to cultivate. So the point here is that these 100 dharmas to me have little to do with cultivation. It has to do with describing our mind, the aspects of our mind. It's like describing your wardrobe, how many clothes you have, how many skirts you have, how many shoes you have, socks, pantyhoses, and so forth. Okay, so it defines very clearly. Okay, to list out, he has a list of different things. It's not meant for you to cultivate. I disagree with Master Hsuan Hua. So remember, the caps are from the text from Master Ching Liang, and the non-caps are from Master Hsuan Hua. So it's very helpful for him to present as our viewpoint, but I find myself clarifying for you because my approach is slightly different. Master Hsuan Hua says you need to memorize later. He said you need to memorize 100 or 100 dharmas or 75 dharmas or whatever. And to me, it's excessive. Okay, don't be frightened. You don't need to memorize. See? Yeah. Non-stupid person agrees. Okay? And so he says here, so he said, evades a few. It's because it's so beautifully and clearly delineated, those 100 mind dharmas, the mind, that the people who follow Mahayana never felt the need to debate among themselves about the meaning of these dharmas. And it's only because they realized they don't get it. And that's the nature of Mahayana teaching. You're not supposed to get it. At this stage, initial teaching, you're supposed to only learn about the terminology, the jargon. And as Jumi correctly pointed out, you need to have faith. That is the Buddha's wisdom. That's all you have to do. You don't need to understand. And it's not meant for you to cultivate it. It's not designed for you to cultivate because it's way too detailed. You get lost if you try to utilize this in your cultivation, in my humble opinion. Okay? And this is the difference between Master Hsuan Hua's approach versus mine. Master Hsuan Hua, he stressed, you need to memorize, you need to internalize all this. I said, you only need to know enough so that you avoid what he's been preaching about, the obstruction of knowledge. See, you know too much, it's not good for you. That's my attitude. All right? Does it help? Okay. So the point here is that it's unlike the people who have Hinayana condition, Hinayana roots. They argue. They say, I understand this 100 dharmas more than you. And I cite this sutra here as reference, as proof of my point. And the Mahayana people, they don't have that problem. And this refers to your Hinayana potential versus Mahayana potential. Mahayana potential, if you have that Mahayana potential, you will not waste time in debating. So that's why he says it. And so debates are few. Okay? They're clearly defined, meaning that the people who did the initial teaching didn't quite get it. Because the Buddha says clearly all these things, but they don't quite make the connection to their mind. Okay? All right, for example, in a prior lectures we talk about the intermediate afflictions, and we listed something like 14 of them. Okay? And so we go to the list of covering of I forgot now. Okay, But I memorized it for 2 weeks just to impress you, and after that I forgot. I admit to you. Okay, I'm too old. I need to unload. Okay. So the point here is that even those 14 things, 14 intermediate afflictions, middle afflictions, okay, you may hear of the names, but actually, you don't quite understand the subtle differences. Okay, and so that's very clear to us. So that when you are Mahayana root, you say, okay, yeah, I know, the concept is there, but there's so many variations between person to person. Okay, it's called a pair of shoes, but there are sneakers, and there are high heels, and there are flat heels, and there are sandals, and there are all kinds of things. So much variety. Okay, so anyway, so for the Mahayana people, they look at that and say, yeah, it's so beautiful, but I don't quite understand it enough to spend time debating to show to you I understand more than you do. We all have the same problem. And we don't quite understand the full delineation where one leads to the other. As I give the example of 14 intermediate afflictions, because one tends to lead to the other, okay? The subsequent ones and so forth, but the delineation is not that clear. So there's no point in debating it. Because for you it's different. For this person, is the range is this much. Next person will be a little bit smaller and so forth. Okay? Am I making sense to you? Only makes sense to her, no one else. That's why I worry when the one person who nods her head and everyone else is in samadhi. Okay, so it's what interesting here is says, when you study Mahayana, you don't tend to debate because you understand that there's a range here. Okay, there's a delineation. The boundaries between one to the next is actually very wide. So far, so good. So no point debating. No. And here, see, and I told you, and Master Shinwan said, you got to memorize 75 things. I assure you, I memorized 14 intermediate afflictions. I was feeling good for 2 weeks. And now I forgot them all, except for a few names. Okay? I'm still the same person. Just as confused as before. You see? So whether I learned the 14 could memorize it or not, it's still the same person. Okay? So, but Master Shuhua says, he makes you feel, his disciples feel guilty that they ought to memorize these things, because if you really are cultivated, you need to memorize it. You know what? I don't think any of them memorized it. Any of my peers memorized it. Okay? So anyway, and then he says, but then there are other people who says the Buddha taught us to sweep away all Dharma marks and so forth, and so why do we have to memorize? Okay, and Master Shuhua says, yeah, if you feel you don't have to memorize it, then you feel that it's not necessary to memorize it and know about these things, leads to enlightenment, and then you are basically serving the demons. You are part of the demons. Okay? Oops, that's me. Huh? Can we backtrack a little? Can't we rewind? Let me start over again. You should memorize it. Okay? And so anyway, so you can read this. I happen to disagree with him. Okay? He says, this is why he says, okay, in 1483, in studying the Buddha Dharma, the first thing you need to get rid of yourself. Okay? True. As long as self remains, you never get advantages. Yeah. You should be without self. The wonderful points are inconceivable. Sort of, yeah. Many of you have no self, or look at yourself in the mirror, you're not that impressive. No self means no mark of self or attachment to self. Means you don't even know if someone scolds you. No. These people, they are presenting a certain image that's not real. The no self here refers to the fact that you have a choice. That's how I see it. No self here doesn't mean that you can't love anymore, you can't like anyone anymore. Because it's no self. When you say I like you, meaning there's an I there, right? And there's a you. Okay, but let's worry about the I first. I like you, I love you, there's an I there. Okay? It means that if you have no self, you're incapable of liking someone, of loving someone. It's so untrue. No self here refers to the fact that you have a choice. You have a choice to have a self versus a choice of having no self. You have a self in order to better connect with someone else. Your wife, your boyfriend, your daughter, your teacher. How can you connect with someone if there's no self? Got that? Buddha is not teaching you to have no self so that you can let go of your husband and say, I don't need you anymore. Get out. I'm no self. Okay? I don't care for you sis anymore because I really have wisdom now. I have no self. Okay? I don't look at you as my sister anymore. Then who's going to study Buddhism? You see my problem? So all these concepts to me are somewhat misleading. Okay? So what I'm presenting to you is no self means that you have a choice. That when you need to connect with someone, when you need to connect with your son, you better have a self. I'm daddy. Your son cannot love a no-self person. And son has a need to love daddy who has gray hair and who has no hair left, fat, okay, very loud. Shall I continue? See that? How can you possibly have a relationship with no self? To me, this is not what Buddhism is about. Buddhism is about you have a self in order, the self there is so loving, is so much more, much kinder than before. Compared to someone who has a self, a person who has no self actually is kinder. Some case, impossible. But you get my point. My point here is that this is better. Look at this way. Okay, so let me assure you that the no self here in Buddhism is a wonderful thing, where you actually are kinder, more compassionate than a person who has a self. Okay? It's sometimes you need to enter the state of no self in order to help someone. Whereas for you who don't know what a no self is, the only way for you to help your daughter is with the self. You cannot help your daughter when you have no self. How's that? You're lacking one dimension in your relationship. I can help you as a no self, meaning that I'm help you because it's good for you. It's not necessarily good for me. Whereas if you have a self, I help you because it's also good for me. How's that? You're not impressed? I make up these things every night. You will not find this in anywhere at all. I just made it up. I challenge you to look up ChatGPT. You understand? It's one added dimension where your relationship is also based on not just the self, but also based on the no self. So it has one more dimension in your relationship. It's not like the misconception about the non-Buddhist believers is they say, if you have no self, then what's going to happen to me, to your wife, to your son, and so forth. Okay? It's only because they don't get it. I'm telling you, it's one more way to love your son as no self, to love your husband as no self. It's wonderful. Let me tell you. Your husband will love it. Okay? You see that? And this is, to me, it's a little bit incomplete of a picture of the way that Master YongHua presents it. That's all. It's not wrong, but it's not complete. You know why I say that? To placate his disciples. His disciples say, oh, sacrilegious. He's criticizing my teacher. He has no wisdom whatsoever. How dare he criticize great Master YongHua? So I don't criticize him. I compliment him. No, compliment mean praise. No, I add more. Compliment, not compliment. Do you understand Vietnam? Taiwan, you understand compliment versus complement? We Vietnamese have so rich in our language. Pli and play, it's have total different meanings. Never mind. You got that? Okay, so when it says it means you don't even know if someone scolds you. Not true. When you have no self, you choose, should I be someone to be scolded, or should I not be anyone who is being scolded? You have a choice. When my wife, my girlfriend yells at me, should I choose to be no selves, or should I choose to have a self? Okay? When she's in a foul mood, what should I choose? I'm asking you. She's very unhappy. What should you be? Self or no self? Give an example. You ladies, when you yell at your husband, your boyfriend, you want a self or no self? Go ahead, 4. Self or no self? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? 1 is self, 2 is no self. Which one? 2? No self. Yeah. When you yell at your husband, you don't want your husband to be there. Seriously? No self meaning he's not there. You yell at nothing, no one. You want 1 then. See, the women are all unanimous. They want someone to yell at. Okay? Makes sense, right? What's the point in yelling? There's no one there. So that's meaning that you men, pay attention. You better not become no self. You better be there and take the beating. You hear? And that's for the sake of a healthy relationship. Make sense to you now? Otherwise, the more you cultivate, the more you have no self, the quicker you dissolve your marriage, your relationship. That's worrisome. This is why the men do not like the women that come to the temple. Because I think somehow they figure eventually women will have no self, and it's very hard to control them anymore. Got that? Men, speak up. Yes, Wei Mao.
Master, you mentioned if you like or love someone but have no self, is this the same if someone dies and you have no self and you can let go if someone dies?
No, sir.
Thank you.
A dead person is different from a no-self person. Please don't confuse the two. It's when you get the no-self, then you say, oh, then I'm dead. No, sir. Absolutely not. Okay? Please don't confuse the two. Promise? Okay, good. Now we're safe. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, so the person who has no self, when the wife yells at him and says, I better be here. I better take a beating. Oh, yes, honey. Yes, honey. Oh, it hurts so much. It hurts. Oh, you hurt so good. Okay? That's wisdom. You hear? Man? Okay? Okay? So this is why I differ a little bit on the Chinese style. The Chinese says, I have no self, you can't yell at me. I said, please yell at me, it hurts so much, I love you so much. I like it when you hurt me. That's wisdom, folks. Why do you think I have so many girl nuns following me? Some even over 10 years. You know how many times they yelled at me already? Okay. And so Master Xinhua says, you need to unload your ego. Okay? This is my commentary. When I do, italics, it's my comment. Okay, not his. I want to make sure you separate the two. Okay, so that you cannot be confused about this. First, he says you need to be no self. Unload the ego. Okay? If you have to unload the ego, why do you need to have it memorized? Who's memorizing? You see, there's contradiction in the approach to me. Okay? Yeah. So that's why, don't worry about this. I emphasize there's certain things that you need to know. Like I tell you about the jargon. I want you to hear about, the 14 intermediate afflictions. One of them is wrath. One of them is covering. One of them is jealousy. See, I still remember 3. Impressive? 3 out of 14. That's not bad. Okay? And so you learn enough of these things. I want you to be aware of it so that when in the future some smart Alex come to you and say, I know 14 afflictions you Mahayana people don't even know. Okay? So they start listing it out and you say, I heard that before. That's all you need to know. The point here is that you don't need to be bogged down by too much knowledge. Because, for example, if you understand about jealousy, anyone? jealousy, anyone? All of you. I swear to God that I've met so many people who are fourth stage arhats and higher who are still jealous here in the temple. Okay? So, trust me, there's a lot more going on than the way it sounds here. So far, so good? Okay, it's not demonic talk. Next. Next section. It says that there are 8 consciousnesses, put it down, which are only production and extinction, and based upon consciousness produced and destroyed, establishes production and extinction as a cause for nirvana.
说有8事，为是生灭，依生灭事，建立生死及涅槃因。
Okay, what do you want?
Emitofuo Master, can you explain that you just said if there are no self, then who's memorize it? I thought that something happened, then it's information. If you register the information, then you can repeat the information. Doesn't need to be memorized, is it? I think Master remember a lot of things, but I think
Because you have good memory.
yeah, I think it is information, right? Instead of the self who memorize it. Can you explain about that?
I was just making fun of him, that's all. I said, if you first get rid of the ego, he says, get rid of the ego. You memorize the 75 dharmas. That's how I'm making fun. I said, if you tell me to get rid of the ego, then you tell me to memorize the dharma. Now, who's memorizing? This is a side. And what a yolai, I don't know how to explain that. You don't practice martial arts. Yolai mình đá mà cái xong mình kéo cái gót mình khóc. You see, it's like this. You kick this way, okay, past him, and then you bend and yolai đó. You're right. No, I forgot. This woman. Go home. Okay, so it's I don't know what that's. I forgot the name of that kick. The kick is that I learned the Korean kick. They kick it and then you hook back here. Okay, so you kick past your head, and you think the thing you miss actually it's meant to hook with the heel, so that you hit the back of the head and you kill them. Take a break. She doesn't even do martial arts, and she keeps on commenting. Of what? Of what? There's a Korean woman back there, so I'm not going to comment about that. Okay, so the point here is that, I know this guy, he hangs on to every single word, but that's why he caught me again. It's just making fun of Master YongHua. Why do you keep on saying you first unload the ego? But I know it's in jest, but actually it's very meaningful. It's the ego that he wants to memorize. The ego has a pride and say, I can memorize, you cannot. And I say, if you tell me to get rid of the ego, and you next tell me to memorize them, to get rid of the ego, it's inconsistent, that's all. You get it? I don't think so. See, that's a nice thing about Master Shon being dead already. I can make fun of him and he's not there to defend himself. So. And his disciples are too stupid to be able to defend. Look at the proof. They buy anything I say. Okay, 1485. I want you to this is the Dharma we're learning. It's okay to talk either, to talk different ways. And that's the nature of Mahayana. Okay, it's not one way to explain it. Master Shon keeps on saying that. I'm proving it to you. Okay, he says one way, I said the other. And it still both make sense, depending on who you are. Okay? For you, I make more sense, yeah? Okay, yeah. It says there are 8 consciousnesses. Okay, very important. Okay? Hinayana people, they don't learn about consciousnesses like we do. Okay? Why is that? Because they fail. They never learn how to deal with the consciousnesses. Okay? And so, Master Shon says, there's 8 consciousnesses, but the most important one is the 8th. This is very important for you to know. Okay? What are the 8 consciousnesses? Your 6 sense organs, your ears, the nose, the tongue, the eyes, and so forth. Okay, there's 6 of them. And so the eyes, in order for you to see, you need an eye consciousness between you and the object you're looking at. So there's a connection there called consciousness. Okay? You know where it comes from? Your Buddha nature. This is why the Hinayana are not taught this. All right? It's your Buddha nature at work immediately. Okay? That's why it's called consciousness. Okay? There's 6 of them. The 6 sense organs have 6 consciousnesses. Number 7 is Narcissa. Ego. Your 6 sense organs are the ones that operational, helps you connect with the outside world. Yeah? And then, so you look at someone and say, the image comes in to your mind. Okay, the mind processes it. Say, that's a woman. Because why? She has longer hair, and so forth. I don't know what else is different. Okay? But, so the mind, among the 6 consciousnesses, the mind decides. So far, so good. Guess what? Also happens inside of you. 7th consciousness says, I don't like her. I like her. Like, dislike. That's the nature of 7th consciousness. It says, ooh, I like myself. Got that? Or, I don't like him. I don't like her. Okay? So that's the 7th consciousness. When you have a like and dislike, okay? That's the 7th consciousness. It's called an ego. Ego is always colored by I like, I dislike. Sounds like you, right? Hardly. Never mind. Okay? That's 7th consciousness. That's the ego. And 8th consciousness is the store consciousness, meaning that it stores everything. Okay? Whatever happens in your head is stored, it's registered in the 8th consciousness. So it's infinite. Okay? All the 7 consciousnesses that gather information in your head is stored in the 8th consciousness. So far, so good? That's you. It's not me. It's all of us. Okay? Because you have the consciousness, Okay? Before the consciousness become wisdom, that's when you cultivate. You turn the eighth consciousness into wisdom. These consciousnesses into wisdom, by the way. 4 kinds of wisdom. Okay? Never mind. It's too detailed for you. But the point is that when we cultivate, when we teach you to cultivate, we teach you this methodology to help you turn these 8 consciousnesses into wisdom. Yeah, you. All of you will be able to turn it into wisdom, period. If you only give yourself a chance. Don't say that, I like myself too much. I don't want to let go of myself. I'm reminding you, yourself is there. When you go to no self, it doesn't mean it's dead. It only means you have one more dimension called no self. That's all. No need to be afraid that I like myself too much for me to let go. Narcissa, are you listening? Because she's been coming to my lecture and says, I don't like this. This is part of me. Master YongHua will never be able to touch myself. No. You have to let go, learn to let go so that you like yourself more than before. Because now yourself, your complete self, has one more dimension, remember? It's no self. Before, you only limit yourself to this, what you know here, the 8 consciousnesses. Okay? When you cultivate and you have faith in me, let me take it back. Have faith in your good no advisor. Okay? That's when you develop the other dimension of no self. Does it make sense to you? Because I know many of you say, I like myself too much to let go. I like to drive a Cadillac, for example. I don't care what you say. I like caddies. So far, so good? This is very important. Before you turn your eight consciousnesses into wisdom, there's something called production and extinction. Meaning what? Meaning that you're here, okay? You're here very happy by yourself. So far, so good? And then all of a sudden you hear some kids' noise. Anyone? Okay? That's the hearing consciousness. So far, so good. Hearing consciousness. Okay? I'm here by myself, very happy by myself. Okay? That's production. This consciousness is production. The production of, there's someone's voice. That's production. Is that clear? Should I start over again? Were you listening? Okay, so this is production. If there's production, it will be extinction. Meaning that the noise, the sound you're hearing, will come to an end. See? Listen. See? Production, extinction. Production, extinction. See that? That's it. That's why your consciousnesses, okay, looking, that's production, a girl, okay, and then you close your eyes, extinction. Poof, gone. Poof. So far, so good. So as long as there's production, there's always extinction. They come in pairs. Okay? Meaning that as long as there's love, there's hate. Hate is the end of love. Yeah? Hopefully, it will not happen this lifetime. It will happen much, much later. Have no fear. Okay, so the concept here is that production of birth, extinction is death. If there's birth, there's always death. Like us. We're born to this world, eventually we have to die. Okay? If there's consciousness of this thing here, when you disconnect, there's death. There's no more connection. Okay? So far, so good? That's it. And if Master Hsien says, oh, this is for information, don't worry, you're not quite there yet. Eighth consciousness become the great perfect mirror wisdom. Okay, this is a very important word. I want you to not throw this away. Okay, and say, oh, this is so far away from me. No, this is you. You have something called great perfect mirror wisdom. Okay, where you are, shall we put it this way, so wise. Sounds good? Okay. Okay, so the eighth becomes great perfect mirror wisdom. Seventh becomes something, and then the other becomes something, and then the other becomes something else. There you go. It doesn't matter. It's just four wisdoms. Okay? Most important one is great perfect mirror wisdom. Okay? There's something called great perfect mirror wisdom. Also something called the wisdom equanimity, meaning that you don't discriminate anymore. Okay? The wife yells at you. It's the same as girlfriend praising you. As the same as wife praising you. Excuse me. Okay? I hope you didn't notice that. Okay? So equanimity meaning it's the same to you. You don't discriminate anymore. Red car, same as caddy. Seriously? Got that? Okay. So that's the wisdom of equanimity. Third wisdom is the wisdom of what? Oh, Abbott. This is the time. Them people are cheating and look up the Buddhist dictionary. Huh? Oh, Abbott, what are the other two wisdoms? This is very important. This is Mahayana concept, not Hinayana. Hinayana don't have this. You should memorize this, old man. What's the third wisdom? What's the fourth?
Con không có biết.
See? Hinayana. Okay? Memorize the four wisdom. Go look up the four wisdom, memorize it. Anyone, have you looked up the Buddhist dictionary? Help. Huh? There's something called 成所作是thân sở所作 tác trí. Thân sở tác trí. Meaning that you accomplish what you are doing. Okay? Meaning that you're a superior person. Whatever you do, you have the wisdom to complete it successfully. This is why I'm telling you, boys and girls, we're going to have a recruitment. We're going to open employment agency where we screen out people for the companies to see who has this wisdom or not. So before Zuck, I call him Zuck, hire someone and pays him $100 million, he should consult with us first. Does he have this wisdom or not? Is he worth $100 million? And I say, no, he has to be Chinese. Did you realize that AI researchers are all Chinese? For some reason, all the big names I noticed in the news that Zuck hired and Elon hires, it's all Chinese. Half of them are Chinese, you're right. And the other half is Vietnam. Okay? You got that? And what's the fourth one? You don't know? Me neither. Su Chi.
妙观察之.
妙观察之.
I'm not sure which two were said already.
Huh?
Where were? 大圆镜智.
Mm-hmm.
平等性智.妙观察之.
Mm-hmm. And 整佛做智. Okay. Yeah. And so these the eighth consciousnesses, they transform to the four wisdoms. Okay, so the eighth consciousness is transformed into great perfect mirror wisdom. Okay, the ego or seventh consciousness is transformed into the wisdom of equanimity. When you are discriminating, you have no wisdom. When you have wisdom, you don't discriminate. Caddy, same as red cars. Believe it or not, that's considered wisdom. I'm working on it, okay? Okay? And there is 妙观察智, okay? Okay, that wisdom is from the 5 consciousnesses. Is it 6? Oh, it's a 6 consciousnesses. Thank you. Okay. I told you. Okay? So the mind, when it becomes wisdom, your thinking mind, when it becomes wisdom, it's the ability becomes wisdom, it's able to solve. Okay? If you think you're smart right now, that you can do programming, if you become enlightened, you program better. I'm serious. You be able to perform better, to solve problems better. Okay? And the 5 consciousnesses, the hearing, the hearing, okay, it becomes
成所作智.
Okay, let you go. Isn't it cool that you have so much potential that you just can simply give yourself a chance. So please don't sell yourself short. You are. If you cultivate, you can go so far. You can be so much happier, and so can do so much more than before. You're much better than you were before. Period. It's no comparison. Okay. That's why you're considered special. Okay. So, in other words, Buddhism, we create super girls. There's a lot more women here, that's why. You have to serve your constituency. That's my attitude. Okay, so far so good. And based on upon cause produced and destroyed, no reversal wisdom is that production. Okay. And Master Shua, this is where his liberty goes off a little bit and wrong side. He says, remember, you confuse when you see production and extinction, right? Okay, because you still have birth and death. And you still see, oh, I'm in love, I no longer love. Whereas when you have wisdom, you always love. Never mind. Okay. Yes, JC.
네, 마스터 감사합니다. 지금 유식학에 대해서 설명해 주셔서 일상 감사드리고요. 궁금한 게 지금 식의 전변에 대해서 설명을 해주셨는데 저희가 보통 5식, 6식, 7식, 8식 성수작지부터 대원경제까지 말씀을 주셨는데 이게 좀 아카데믹한 질문이라서 좀 저기 할 수도 있는데 그냥 궁금증이 든 게 이 식의 전변이라는 것이 5식이 성수작지가 되고 6식의 그 병계 소집성이 묘관찰지가 되고 7식의 의타기성이 평등성지가 되고 8식이 대원경제가 되고 이 식의 그 리니어가 동시다발적으로 이제 어떻게 사람이 성장해가고 레벨이 올라갈 때 동시다발적으로 이제 탁 이렇게 틀 수 있는지 아니면 각 레벨대로 이렇게 층층이 선형적으로 하나씩 이제 레벨이 이제 증량되면 올라가면서 이렇게 변화가 되는지 그러니까 전변이 되는지 그걸 좀 여쭤보고 싶습니다.
Okay, let me guess what he's asking. He's asking, can I love my son, but also love my daughter? No. Just quickly. Am I wrong? Wrong, huh? Okay, just say no, master. That's all. Don't be scared of me. It's okay. You can disagree with me. It's a democracy here in the U.S. You don't have to like everything I do. Okay. Then is it the case where he's saying, can I love my wife and also love my mother? Just to be safe. I just saw his wife behind him. This is why. I was about to say something else, but I look, oh, she's here. Yeah? My good guess or no? No? Okay, translation.
Master, is this fifth consciousness leads to, sorry, I don't know the exact Chinese pronunciation, 静效坐知, and the sixth consciousness to
成所作智.
成就.
Who's a Chinese teacher here for the Korean synonyms? Is it Apple here? I want names.
It's a long vacation, Master.
Huh? She's on vacation, so now you regress?
I'm on vacation.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so 成所作智. What do you want? What does he want?
And the sixth connects to 妙观所智.
妙观察智.
And seventh to 平等, and the eighth to 大圆. So is this connected to the level that when we make a progress?
No.
No.
When you become enlightened, you have 1G. You get 04. Isn't that good? Isn't it good news? See? YongHua likes it. He says, I don't need to worry about 4. I get 04. He's thinking, which one should I choose first? Okay? 04 at once. And when you go to 2G, the O4 get better, 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 O4. Okay? Sounds good? Now tell us what you really want to know about.
그럼 눈에는 그러면은 진정으로 이제 묘 관찰지가 이제 그 천발이 그 묘 관찰지가 이제 그 무르익지 않았다고 볼 수 있으면 될까요? 그러니까 그 진정한 묘 관찰지가 아니라 그래서 그걸 논할 단계가 아니라고 보면 될까요? 초지 이전에 그 스테이지에서는.
So before enlightenment, would you say it's not a right time to have a real 妙观卓智?
That's right. No, you can't. It has 1G. Even 4A, they don't have these 4 wisdoms. Only 1G and higher will have the 4 wisdoms. Okay? Very good. And it's not automatic, because meaning that when you get to 1G, meaning you're able to, if you spend time, you develop these 4 to make them stronger. Okay? Yes, Wei Meng.
Master, so this 平等性启智 is the wisdom of equanimity. It's like before you become enlightened, so the love that we have is just like for one person based on discrimination. And then when we become enlightened, we have this wisdom, like we can love even more people, like Jesus, that he loved like thousands of wives.
Yeah,
Means
I
that
love all the women.
All of it. Oh, then it's a good thing then. Thank you.
And all the men too.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
When I said love all the women, said, but when I said love all the men. Happy? Okay. Okay, let me finish this. Okay. And Master YongHua said Nirvana cause of the cause of production. It's okay, don't go there. He's confusing you. All I want you to know is that this production extinction, your discrimination, your like and dislike are the causes for liberation or nirvana. Don't reject yourself. You say, I'm so afflicted, I'm so angry, I'm so narcissa. That's normal. You don't like yourself. That's a good reason for you to reach nirvana. I want to emphasize that. Okay? If you don't like yourself in any way, or you like yourself too much, it's a good cause for nirvana. Got that? I mean, you could be better. That's my point. Don't be stuck there. You could be so much better. Okay? And so Master YongHua said, I explain this way, other people explain that way, and so forth. He said, remember Master Tao Sheng, and we in a lecture, Paranirvana Sutra, and don't worry about it. Questions? Okay, this section here will take more than 7 minutes to explain to you. If I get started, we're going to be stuck here another half hour. See, they get the message right away. Say, that's the end here, and be good, and still remain friends. Okay? Well, we stop here tonight. Thank you so much. Namaste. Hey, long legs.
Master's mic. Namo Chinyangti Pusa Mosa Namo Chinyangti Pusa Mosa Namo Chinyangti Pusa Mosa Namo Poro Vesha Pho Pusa Namo Poro Vesha Pho Pusa Namo Poro Vesha Pho Pusa Poro Poro Mito Xingji Quan Zhi Zai Pusa Xing Shen Poro Poro Mito Shi Zhao Jie Nu Yin Jie Kong Du Yi Che Ku He Xiao Li Zi So Bu Yi Kong Kong Bu Yi So So Ji Shi Kong Kong Ji Shi So Shou Xiang Xing Shi Yi Fu Ru Shi Shao Li Zi Shi Zhi Fa Kong Xiang Bu Xiang Bu Mie Bu Gou Bu Jing Bu Zhong Bu Jian Xu Gu Kong Zhong Wu So Wu Xiu Xiang Xing Shi Wu Ye Nai Bi Xiao Xiao Ni Wu So Xiong Xiang Wei Chu Fa Wu Yan Jie Nai Zhi Wu Yi Xu Jie Wu Ming Yi Wu Ming Jin Nai Zhi Wu Lao Si Yi Wu Lao Si Jin Wu Ku Jin Mie Dao Wu Zhi Yi Wu De Yi Wu So De Gu Pu Ti Sa Do Yi Poro Poro Mi Do Gu Xi Nu Guai Wu Guai Gu Hu You Kong Bu Yan Li Dian Dao Mong Xiang Qu Jing Nye Pan San Shi Zhi Fo Yi Poro Poro Mi Do Gu Da No Du Ro San Miao San Pu Ti Zhi Poro Poro Mi Do Shi Da Shen Zhou Shi Da Ming Zhou Shi Shang Zhou 是等等就能去一切苦真实不虚空修般若波罗蜜多咒其修咒业界地界力般若界力般若僧界力菩提萨婆南无阿弥陀佛耶罗陀切罗耶多地耶陀阿弥利多婆毗阿弥利多悉檀婆毗阿弥利多毗扎兰提阿弥利多毗扎兰多切弥尼切切诺智多扎利娑婆南无阿弥陀佛耶多陀切多耶多地耶陀阿弥利多婆毗阿弥利多悉檀婆毗阿弥利多毗扎兰提阿弥利多毗扎兰多切弥尼切切诺智多扎利娑婆南无阿弥陀佛耶多陀切多耶多地耶陀阿弥利多婆毗阿弥利多悉檀婆毗利多毗扎兰提阿弥利多毗扎兰多切弥尼切切诺智多扎利娑婆南无萨瓦旦多耶多瓦律智利汉三波那三波那吽南无萨瓦旦多耶多瓦律智利汉三波那三波那吽南无萨瓦旦多耶多瓦律智利汉三波那三波那吽南无斯鲁婆耶难多耶多耶拉智多汉斯鲁斯鲁婆那斯鲁婆那斯鲁斯婆南无斯鲁婆耶难多耶多耶拉智多汉斯鲁斯鲁婆那斯鲁婆那斯鲁斯婆南无斯鲁婆耶难多耶多耶拉智多汉斯鲁斯鲁婆那斯鲁婆那斯鲁斯婆南耶耶南三婆阿帕律那吽南耶耶南三婆阿帕律那吽南耶耶南三婆阿帕律那吽愿知 开真佛无上，不退不散，为百里十方三世一切佛，一切菩萨摩萨。阿波罗波罗蜜。顶礼佛舍利。南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛。